Hello, everybody. This is Restream team and our gear show, round 2. I'm Anya with Restream Marketing, and today with me is Charles. How are you,
Hello,
friend?
I'm Charles with Restream team.
Right. So this show happened because last week we did a gear show and everyone had so many questions that we did not have time to answer all of them in an hour and a half. So we decided to do another round per your requests. So today we are continuing our conversation about gear. As you are checking in, please say hello in the chat. Let us know where in the world are you watching from and what kind of content do you stream. And of course, start posting your questions about gear. So we're talking shop today about cameras, lights, microphones, setups, how to look professional and look good on camera, whether you're streaming a solo show, a podcast, a webinar, interviews with guests, panels, live events, all that kind of stuff. Let us know, by the way, in the comments, what kind of content do you typically produce. And of course, we are real housekeeping, trying to grow our channel. So if you can, please like and subscribe. It helps us a lot, and we're hoping to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. This is our big goal. Help us get there. All right. So we are. How are you doing today, Charles? By the way,
I'm really good today. I'm going to try not to talk over you quite so much. I got a bit overexcited, drank too much coffee last time, so I'm going to do my best to hold it down. So I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. No, I'm super excited. As the world is being taken over by the claw bots, and I already have my own little crazy bot helping me with some things and like surprising and terrifying me every single day since I got her set up. We're keeping it human here with real life interactions. So, and that's hopefully what we are, encouraging other creators to do as well by going live. Some comments in the chat. I'm just going to acknowledge some people that are already checking in today. I see some great things. Steven from our sales team is saying hello, and gear question. Where is Charles? Where does Charles get his hats? I'll definitely let you take this one in just a minute. I see that Tom Stream says countdown is fire. Alex Bichok is also saying countdown is fire. Something tells me it's the same person. Or the countdown is really good. By the way, fire, big kudos to Dmitry, our designer, who writes music for us and creates those countdowns every time for every single live show every week. So thank you so much, Dmitry. We love it. There is Sean saying, glad I caught the intro. Love the video. And so many other cool comments here. There's Grant says hello from Oregon. Good to see you here as well. All right, Charles, do you want to go ahead and take our first question about the hat?
Oh, about the hat.
Yeah.
So I have so many hats. It's ridiculous how many hats I have. You wouldn't believe anyone that has never shaved their head. There are two things you don't know about it. One, how the most amazing feeling it is when you take your first shower having shaved your head. The feeling on your scalp is just incredible. No one knows about that. The other thing is how cold your head gets. Like my head gets very cold. And, obviously I'm a bit insecure. Middle-aged man with no hair. So where do I get them? I get most of them from AliExpress, actually.
Okay.
There's because you can just sort of buy them for like a few bucks each, and if they're no good, and because I wear them all the time, you can only wash a hat so many times and they just lose their shape and they look terrible. So I tend to just buy them on AliExpress or local sports stores. And of course I have my favorite one, my favorite branded one, but it's a trucker snapback it's actually too big for me. It looks a bit ridiculous.
I love that. This is a great question. And there's another question already here from May. I would like to see how you are doing your lighting setup. We are going to talk a lot about lights today. So I think as a starter, as a refresher, I am going to go ahead and show once again a little guide, a little walkthrough, the Restream studio here in our Austin, Texas office. It is a little bit of a Ferrari of studio, so heads ups there because we did really invest in this studio this year, and we wanted to show, to basically show up in our live streams in the best possible way. So I'm going to show you what we built here, and then shortly after that, we are going to show you the most budget setup possible that Charles prepared to showcase. Because that was one of the biggest
Special
questions, right,
guest.
Charles?
Budget Charles is joining us as a special guest.
Yeah. Budget Charles. So we are, because we had a lot of questions about like, okay, so if we have resources in the company to build out a studio, sure, that's what Restream Flagship Studio could be great inspiration for. But if I'm just trying to stream something personal, hobby, or maybe I'm just starting at home, at my own home studio as a freelancer, then a lot of the things and features here are not accessible, and not necessarily budget-wise for the gear, but just space-wise, right? Like this is a dedicated room that we have exclusively for studio. Not everyone has the dedicated room for that. So that's what budget setup is gonna hopefully address today. So stay tuned for that. But real quick, first, Restream Studio setup. So this is what we have going on here. And there was a question about lights, so you will see a little bit of that too. So this is my SMB7 mic. This is like a pro podcasting mic that I use right now, and I sound like silk, hopefully. There's also a boom mic right above me that you can see in the video right now. That's great for capturing two guests talking. And for that, we need an audio interface. So that is our Rodecaster. So that's like some pretty serious equipment going on here. I do have a teleprompter right in front of me. That helps me. I do not script myself, but that's actually connecting right into camera, and it helps people who are not trained to constantly look into camera to kind of like look at themselves, but also look, have this like eye contact. We do have this digital interface and cam link in order to trick my computer into thinking that DSLR camera that I have is a webcam. And then we have lights behind me. So there are a few lights on the ceiling. So there are actually 3 lights behind me. One is just like this little stand light, that looks like a lightsaber. Then there is a hair light that is like accenting me right here. And then there's another light that lights up my background. And that's actually off at this moment. I will actually show you because I love to showcase that. Sorry, Charles, I know you're next.
No. I don't want to show my room, but I do have comments on what you're showing. But
yeah.
I also looked that thing that you've got there. I've actually looked into what that is.
The lightsaber.
No, not the lightsaber. Oh, what in the background?
Yeah,
I've looked into everything that you have there, to be honest.
Nice.
No, the lighting switches that you have there. It's a remote. It's literally turning the power on and off remotely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So I do have it. Every time I enter the studio, I basically just press these 3 buttons. That's how it's set up for me. One of them turns on the camera and the key light. So I'm not going to turn this off because that's going to kill my video. But I do have some variations of my lighting, which I can play with. So the one that I have right now, and let me actually make sure. So this is all the lights on, right? Like that is my accent light, my hair light, and like all the light that is here on the background, and of course my key light. If I turn off that part, I kind of get this warmer, basically only my key light and only my accent lights. I really like this look, and that's why this is the one that I will stick with for the rest of the show. There's also an option to have the backlight, but no highlights, right? Like, so this is what's changing my accent lights and doesn't have my hair light. This is also an interesting look. It's a little bit more cool, less, warm. But also like very, very lit, and like really helps if I'm trying to show some things that I'm unboxing or having in my hands. I also do use LUTs. So we covered LUTs last time. We can actually we can bring that video again. If you guys are interested, let us know in the chat if you want to talk about LUTs again. But those are basically, think Instagram filters for your video camera. So they just create this kind of like little interesting surfaces or layers that allow you to look like more cozy, more warm, more cool, more dramatic, more sharp. I'm using dramatic blue. So that's always installed. That's constantly kind of like filtering my camera. And then there's also an option to go with this. This is what we call a Rembrandt light. So that is turning, chef's kiss, right? That is turning off all the lights except for key light and creates this really intimate, dark, interesting atmosphere. This is a really cool look. I personally love it. And the reason why it's called Rembrandt is because of this kind of like how your face is lit is very similar to Rembrandt paintings. So that is on my studio lighting. So I'm going to bring the normality back.
Can I talk about your lighting a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. And I'm going to look into...
There are different types of light. You talked about the key light. That is the main light that's going to fill in. It is the key to lighting. The other lights are then built around. Then you have your fill light. So where the key is on one side, the fill will fill in the gaps on the other. And that's generally, the key light needs to be big. It needs to be soft to give nice wrapping around light. And then you want a fill light that's going to come in on the other side and fill in the gaps. Now, I have a huge key light, so I don't need so much fill. I also have it's bouncing off various things in my room, so it's filling in here. But you see, it's giving the shadows. And the same with you. You've got your key on one side. Now, the other thing is that the edge light and the hair light, these are giving you an edge, and they're lighting up the top of your head to give you separation. But then what's really beautiful about your setup is you have those lights on the background that are shining. They're not actually lighting you in any way. They're just shining on your background to give that separation. And those are, they could be what we call a practical. So if you look, you can't quite see it at the moment, but I have a light that's just in the background just to shine at the camera. It doesn't do anything except look nice and gives that separation. But if you look at that light there, you've got a soft box with an egg crate on it. Those are quite important for helping direct light. They talk about painting with light, and this is what you're doing. You're painting a picture, and it was even called Rembrandt lighting. That's after that style of lighting that Rembrandt did in his paintings, which were very, very dark backgrounds.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to move into the budget setup in just a second, but first I definitely want to make sure we address a few questions from the chat that I already see. Let's see if this is going to let me just show a few questions, because I really like we have active chatters, and we definitely want to take some of those questions. So May, let me know if this little demonstration helped you understand kind of how we set up lighting, or do you want to go a little bit deeper? We're happy to share the links or show you even more of how this is all set up. I'm not going to be able to speak intelligently on the electric connection of all that stuff, but in terms of how we position that and what it does to the video, happy to dive in deeper. Just let us know.
Marsha, on that, just that previous question, I would like to see how you're doing your lighting setup. The term to Google is 3-point lighting.
Three-point lighting.
Yeah, look at videos on 3-point lighting, and that will give you everything you need to know, and it's not complicated.
Yeah,
but it is an art form. That
is an art form. Love it. I also see there is a question from Marsha. I guess that's a comment on your. I probably have you beat in the hat department. Shaved my head 4 years ago. Love that. Hats are great.
I haven't had hair for over 10 years, so but I'm a prolific hat buyer. But maybe you got me beat, Marsha. We'll have to see. Send us some pics.
Yeah, totally. All right. So, question from Steven. Good one on the background. So obviously we spent some time into building our background. I know, Charles, you also worked on creating kind of that look and feel for your background that fits your.
It's still work in progress. I added a plant.
Always. Yeah, absolutely. But this is a good question. How do you feel about green screens versus curated backgrounds? So green screen versus the actual, design and decor.
Honestly, how do you feel about green screens? What makes you feel confident on screen? What is appropriate for your space? What's appropriate for your stream? A green screen is pretty easy to achieve. You do need to make some. There are considerations with a green screen. The green that's used in green screen, the CSO green or chroma green, it's very green, and it's very it can be quite reflective. If you're too close to it, you'll get spill, so you'll get the green shining onto you, which will sort of wrap around. That can make it very difficult to key you out. So the green screen needs to be lit separately to you. How do I feel about it? It's a pain, but it's very appropriate at times. And if done well, you don't necessarily need to know. If I could probably take a shot of your background without you in it, and then add me over the top, and you wouldn't know. The problem being my very fine little hair is going to be difficult to key. These holes here, if you're doing chroma keying and you're using something like the Apple's internal system, it will probably miss these bits. It may miss these bits. So I don't feel any particular way about it, other than I would rather do it live, do it like this.
The real background, absolutely. I would add to that I do think that real background almost always looks more natural and almost always wins. It's extremely difficult to set up the green screen such that it would never spill and like always look perfect and professional. It's possible. A lot of professional YouTubers and creators have that, but it's a lot of work. It also takes a ton of space, and especially if you're reusing the room for something else, setting it up and removing it is a huge pain. I would not recommend that. I would say another beautiful thing about creating your actual background is that you can put little, Easter eggs, little like trinkets, little snippets of something that you can talk about. And of course, for green screen, you can also do that with images, but then you have to create that image versus just putting something physical. I personally love actual backgrounds. That's why we invested in this one. And
green screen is fabulous if you're doing post-production and you want to film something and you want to have captions and graphics behind you. Brilliant. I mean, the beta software of Premiere Pro and now the latest version of it will do this automatic masking. It will cut you out, so you don't even need a green screen anymore. It's a bit more of a process, but I think that green screen is great you'll notice that a bunch of YouTubers will actually have a space big enough to have two setups. So they'll have like their streaming setup with a background, and then they can spin around and they've got a green screen and they've lit it separately. So, if it's appropriate, they're great. It depends what you're doing. Really.
It really depends.
News channels probably want a green screen because then they can show, reels and things behind them.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, it also depends on like what else is going on into your stream. If it's more like a podcast style, or is it like media heavy? Like that's another great point. But again,
if you're doing the weather, you need a green screen.
Right, true. Yeah, because you have to show how like the hurricanes move. But if you're using Restream Studio, you can use a lot of things within Restream Studio. You can like actually pre-record videos and play them as part of our media, or even drop images in the middle of the stream. So it kind of depends on like the scale of your production. But yeah, for each their own, I guess.
Adding a layer, it's adding a component that you have to think about. So it can
Absolutely.
make trouble. Yeah.
Circuits FM. It's fascinating to see the difference and emphasis on tech stack between face and faceless channels. I use Blue Yeti for my show, but it is more like a radio show. Yeah, it's definitely fascinating to see the difference. We're going to talk about microphones in a lot of detail. So like I mentioned earlier, I do have two different microphones for two different purposes. If it's just me solo streaming, I really love this SMB 7, right? 7B. Yeah. Oh, gosh, it's too many letters and numbers. But this, it sounds so good. And I love hearing myself later, which is such a weird experience because most of the time people hate their own voice. But this microphone does some magic and you sound like honey.
What's great about that, it has built-in roll-off, so it can eliminate some of the room noise. Like naturally takes the hiss and can take some of the rumble out. It's a dynamic mic, which means it's not that sensitive. Again, it helping to reject any noise that you don't want in the room, other people talking. However, it's a very low level mic, so your interface has to work extra hard, or you need a lifter of some kind to boost that signal. And I don't believe it needs power though, right? It's dynamic anyway.
It's plugged into something, but like I said, electric setups and circuits is not my strong point here. So I'm not going to comment on the electric side of this thing.
There was something that we didn't talk about why mics are XLR. We use that XLR connector, but we don't have to get into that now. But I can give you a little bit of the background on an XLR cable and connector as to why that's used for microphones and for instruments.
Yeah, I think it would be great. Let's take a few more questions from the chat, and then we are promising to show the budget setup. So we definitely want to deliver on that one, and then we'll see where the conversation takes us. Once again, from Circuits FM, this is why I love Restream layouts and setups. My visuals are Restream visuals beside my music and music visuals. That's awesome. So basically, you're saying that you're using our built-in graphics and our built-in layouts. This is so good to hear. Thank you so much. If you want to request something in that realm of things, let us know. We have a really talented designer. He is creating a lot of good stuff for us, and we are planning to open up for our creators as we move. Not Phil Sledge, hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. He's saying, is there a way to preset a scene when using multicams? Yes, there is. You can actually create scenes, and you can preset. You can assign specific cameras to specific scenes. And in just a minute, we are going to demo that because we have a different room where Charles created his budget setup, and you will see how we will transition from one scene. I know you're so looking forward to that, aren't you?
Me or they? Because I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a bit haphazard, but we'll get it going.
We'll get there.
E for extra camera, and then you can assign it to different scenes.
Yes, you absolutely can, and you can add additional cameras to the whole stream, and you can then assign them to specific scenes. So you can have a scene where you have only one camera, maybe one scene where you have you and your guest, and this extra room. So this is this is awesome. Let's go ahead and get to our budget setup.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I will. All right.
So this is how we're gonna do this. Like, I just transitioned to a scene where it's just me. So I basically assigned this scene just for my camera, so we don't have to watch Charles move. And then now we are going to go to another scene where we have a budget Charles. So the reason why he sounds so terrible right now is because what's going on, Charles? Can you tell us what's happening?
The microphone is, I am on a $500 laptop. It's got the internal camera, which is very wide angle. So I need to try and tidy up everything behind me. There's no shallow depth of field, so everything's in focus, as in focus as this little thing can be. The microphone, I'm assuming, is internal. Now I've got some headphones on. Oh, that's weird.
That just turned off.
Yeah, the light turned off in this room. Hang on. There you go. I mean, hang on. Oh, well, okay, that is very weird.
Some crazy stuff. But the reason why we're showing you this, guys, is because we're basically starting with like the bottom, right? Like, and unfortunately, some of your guests are going to show up to your podcast like this. So this is a web camera, no microphone, just built in PC microphone, right? Like built into your laptop, and nothing else but the room and the light. I do think someone asked something about like how to avoid like typical weird office lighting. So this is kind of as bad as it gets, right? So no preparation, no gear, no nothing.
There's the light right above me, look.
Yeah, just the light from the ceiling.
Sneak preview of what I'm about to show you.
So now Charles is going to show you what you can do by adding just a few little tweaks to dramatically improve it without any additional or with minimal additional investment into the gear.
The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to this microphone, which my headphones are already plugged into. I can hear myself in this. That is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, why does it keep turning off your lights?
I have no idea. I wonder whether. Well, you know what? Okay. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on this microphone. Now, has that microphone switched? Do I sound different?
Yes.
Okay.
Way better. Way better.
About this, the Samsung Q2U. I spoke about this. Now, this is one that I already had. So we used to give these to people. The difference, just from that simple thing, you can probably pick this mic up for half price. I think at the moment it's about $100. You can get about half price. It comes with this little windsock and the stand. I'm not going to sell you this mic, but I like this because my headphones are plugged into this mic. These are headphones, by the way, that my son got on an airplane, right? Doesn't have to be expensive as long as I can hear you. So my headphones are plugged into that mic, so I can hear myself a little bit. So
Perfect.
It reminds me actually to not talk too loudly. I don't know, you're aware people talk on the phone and they yell. I tend so because I can hear myself, and I remember to, Okay, so the other thing I've got my phone, which you'll just see I put up here. Okay, I'm going to let's get onto the lights first, because that light. Yeah. I'm going to go and turn that off and switch on the lights that I've set up in here. That is so strange that it's doing that. Sorry, 1 second. I turn this light on. Turn off that main light, and then I've got some over here. There we go. So I'm hoping that looks a little bit better. Put my headphones back in so I can hear you.
Yes. So basically, you went from just the ceiling light in your room into that specific light that you'll show us later, just like a little fill light.
It's 3 lights technically, so you can see there's a slight color there, and then I've got a light off here as a sort of key, and then I've kind of got a backlight as well. You can see the backlight is lighting up that corner slightly. Now the other thing
let's get to the camera, because like I think the quality of camera is going to really dramatically, because it's even here we go.
Right, so this is an iPhone. Oops, this is an this is an iPhone on going into a PC.
Yeah,
and you can still hear me. I'm getting because I'm moving stuff around. It's getting unhappy.
No.
So this is, let me get myself in the middle. This is an iPhone going into a PC. Now, the reason I'm able to use the iPhone on a PC is because I've just downloaded a piece of software called Camo, which if you look in the captions, I've got a URL for that. I've never used this before. I just literally was Googled, how do I do this? And this free software came up. So you'll see their logo is down here in the corner, look.
Yeah.
But if we change to this layout, you got it.
To something like this.
It's cut it off. Now, I'm not saying you I'm saying if you use this, you should pay for it. But there you go. Now, I feel like that looks and sounds better than it was before. Which side are you?
Much better. Much better. And honestly, the most magical part of this is that, yes, you invested probably about $100 into that microphone, right? And you are using the phone that you already have. Yep. And then there's also the light that you'll let us know how much is that. But still, we are within a couple $100 budget, we are significantly improving compared to where we started, right?
One thing I couldn't do was show you the treatment that I've done in this room. So I'm just going to get the camera and do it. So I got moving blankets and I've pinned them up. Those were $30 on your well-known, home shipping thing. And I've just hung them up just to try and deaden the sound slightly. I'm sure you can still hear it a bit. Yeah. And then while I'm doing this, up here, that is a work light from, again, your home center.
It's a budget diffuser.
Bulb. Can you see that it's an aluminium work light with a daylight bulb? Daylight meaning that it's kind of bluish, and a pillowcase over the top of it. Another work light up there, and I've got 3 work lights with ordinary bulbs, and you can see that I've put on that one there. Sorry, that one there. There's actually I've just put a tissue over it just to soften it. And you've got to be careful with tissues because obviously they'll burn. And then in that light
let's not recommend that kind of stuff.
And that one there is I've got a gel, which is basically a piece of fire retardant plastic that is designed for lighting. And I bought that again online for just a couple of bucks. Those lights, those work lights, they're about $12 each, I think. Yeah. You can't dim them. Like a lot of the bulbs now, the reason I've covered them is to soften the light, but also you can't really dim these lights because then they will flicker on camera. And a lot of the cheaper bulbs, you literally can't dim. They just don't work. So that is my,
that's the budget, Charles.
You can see this how budget this is, because if I was to do this regularly, I would probably set up this little desk tripod for my phone. Yeah, I would probably get one of those ones that hangs over the screen, because as it is, I'm sort of looking at you. I'm looking at the screen. Yeah. Sorry, I got bitten by an avocado this morning.
Nice.
There you go. That's my
so I think the key takeaway from this is how much better just those simple tricks as just get a budget but standalone, right, external microphone and switch from your web camera into your phone camera. And this is something that you can checklist with your guests every time, and always make sure to recommend this to them together with speed test and wearing headphones and just like being in the quiet and private space to do an interview with you. So this is what we wanted to show you. And this is pretty much very minimal investment. All right,
Can I just say that the reason I've put things over these lights so that they're softer, so that it's not too harsh. You see the shadow, how soft that shadow is. Yeah. If I didn't have that light would be too bright, B, it would too harsh, which I believe Dimitri talked about that couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, like the very when it's just like you look like you're being interrogated. Absolutely. All right, back
All
to
right,
normal
Budget
Charles.
All right,
Yeah,
see you in a bit.
yeah, and I am going to highlight a few and see. Like I'm going to switch to another scene, and here is. What Phil was asking earlier, can you actually assign specific cameras? So obviously his setup in the Budget Charles version of events is different. So, and by simply switching a scene, I just transition into this camera. He is on his way, but he is going to be back here. I'm just going to go solo for a second and highlight some of your comments because I absolutely love them. Steven is saying that's an extreme lighting example. That's where we started. Yes, it is pretty extreme, but you'll be surprised how many people and guests, and even sometimes when you do case studies with customers, interviews, or even teammates that you want to do a live show with, occasionally show up with that exact basic lighting setup, which is not ideal. Becca is saying, Budget Charles, I know, I was laughing at that for so long. Like, I don't know how you come up with this stuff, but yeah.
Me. It was just it was Charles on a budget. Budget Charles, I don't know.
Yeah. Comment from Steven here, the Budget Charles needs to pay his electric bill. This is true.
I think that light bulb might be going. So it just shows that checklists are important. Testing things out is important. I tested that this morning, but I didn't, that these things happen. So
yeah, there's some other theories. Gremlins, I don't know if you've had those, but this is definitely something that people assumed. Motion sensor light. I think that budget setup might be a little bit too budget for motion sensor.
My current theory is that might be a dimmer switch on that light switch that I may have knocked the dimmer, and it's but.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this is why live shows are fun. Exactly. Who could predict that Charles is going to be losing his light bulbs?
Who could predict that Budget Charles would have problems?
Yeah, with electricity bills. Nobody. Never. So looks 1000% better. Very true. That's the difference between where we started and where you took us with the Budget Charles setup. Folks are saying this is so helpful. I'm so glad because we were thinking about how do we even do this little stunt, and it looks like it worked. So I'm very happy to hear that. And there's also comments from Steven that Budget Charles is a handyman Charles. Very true. Yeah, because you did some argumentations there that are they're kind of cool.
I mean, I've always maintained that I am a jack of all trades, not a master of one. And and I think that that's an important skill to have in this particular line of work, is that you not only am I trying to be comfortable on camera addressing people, I also need to problem solve in a technical way. So, it's a good thing to be handy, and it's that also saves you a lot of money to do these things yourself. Like everything that you did. But there is a case to be said for getting a pro in. Look at your background. Look at the beautiful background you have compared to mine. You've got a specialist come in and give that beautiful background. Now I'm learning from that. I know I'm not ashamed. Did you? Oh, you. I was like, where did I thought something was going wrong there.
I wanted to show my beautiful background because there's a lot going on here. And again, when we're doing the stream together, and especially when we're working with our shorts and clips, like clipping our Restream, it does get rid of a lot of this beautiful background. But I just wanted to show for a second the wide angle because, we have the lightsabers, lots of plants, little shelves where I can hide my little Easter eggs, like books that I'm really into. Not doing any of that today, but it is definitely something that we...
It's also the fact you have a dedicated space. Like this is the room that I'm in is multi-use. And so I'm sort of doing my best, but and you can just mount a light wherever you want. My lights are mounted in such a way that I can leave them set without them getting in the way. And in fact, I adjusted this light behind me. And then just as Budget Charles came in, I went to close the door and I've moved this light and I can't close my door. And yesterday I knocked this light down. Now, this is something I didn't talk about before. Maybe I did. Sandbags. Please get sandbags for your light stands. I knocked this light over because I took the sandbag off to use it somewhere else, and I turned around and the light went crash. Fortunately, these are LED bulbs, so it didn't break. But anyway, sorry.
That happens. No, that's good. That's good stuff.
I slipped into Dad Charles for a second there.
So there is an interesting comment here too on the setup. If you display no. If you daisy chain the lights together and plug them into a smart plug, you can have a remote control for them. Yeah, I think that's kind of something what's going on here a little bit. Like,
be careful about the amperage, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good way for handyman to address that.
Two of my main lights, my key light and my backlight, are on smart plugs, and so I sit down and I say smart device, I'm filming, and they turn on, and then the light that's giving me this slight bluish background, excuse me, I do that manually because it's right next to me. Yeah. And so I tend to do that, and it's also, this one's a battery powered one, so I have to do that separately. So yes, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, love it. Are you on Mac or PC? Currently, we are both using Macs, but the budget Charles setup was based on a PC. Yeah, I would say, I mean, I personally recommend Mac if you can get it, definitely use it. It's helpful not only for, just like running the live shows and the videos. I'm just more used to it. Remember that you do not want to use MacBook Air with Studio. You want a little bit more powerful version of Mac. I remember I really wanted MacBook Air for just my regular work, but my team convinced me that I need a MacBook Pro in order to be able to run this live streams kind of sustainably and successfully, because it needs a little bit extra power in order to be able to power lives.
The same thing could be said about those Chromebooks. Now, it does work. I looked into that, and it suggests if you're going to be doing live streaming on something like a MacBook Air or Chromebook, then to use a Chrome-based, browser-based streaming platform like Restream, so that the computer doesn't have to do all of that processing of video files and video streams, which is pretty heavy. It does work, but the moment you start manipulating other videos in your stream, dragging in pictures, all of that good stuff, all of the stuff that you really want to be able to do. Yeah. So if it's just a chat like this, it's probably going to work. But if you want to do local recording, if you want to be dragging in, then you're putting more pressure on that computer. So obviously go for the best you can afford. And certainly Macs are coming, those like Mac Minis, you can get external storage, and then it becomes actually a pretty viable option.
Yeah, it just depends on like how heavy, media heavy, and how many guests, how like powerful, like how like high resolution your camera is. So all of those things are something to take into consideration. Like this camera that we're using right now, it's at least the one that I have, is recording in 4K, and we are actually doing local recording on this stream in 4K, so we can repurpose it into really slick and cool clips and kind of like cut down like a little best of the episode. So if you're running this kind of like powerful gear, then of course your computer should be able to handle that. But yeah, Restream Studio is definitely taking a lot of that work off of your machine and takes it into cloud. So something to consider. If you are streaming with OBS, then of course the machine needs to be a little bit stronger. But yeah.
So and of course there are knock-on effects of things. For instance, my camera, I could be recording in 4K locally on my camera, like onto the SD card. The problem with that is that the camera then has a tendency to overheat. And so to combat that, I have to have a little gadget on the back of it and all of the doors open to cool it down. And the problem with that is it has a fan. And so that introduces noise. And so you get all of this chain of effects that can cause more problems. And like you're solving one and creating another. So a platform like Restream that's going to just take that 4K and record it. However, it will be putting out the right resolution and bit rates to the platforms that you are going to, and taking care of that back end. You don't need to worry about it, but that you're recording in a nice high quality whilst you're going.
Yeah, and I think it's a good opportunity for us to kind of like bring back the idea of local recordings. And I see that there are some questions about like what's new. So this is one of the things that we actually released last year. But this is a very powerful update, because not only when you record locally in Restream Studio, you save your space, you don't overheat your camera. You also, as a host, immediately get the videos of your guests. So for example, in our setup, right, once we're done here, Charles will have a lot of work to do on post-production. You will have to grab my video, your video, and of course, basically work through all this material in order to make little snippets, some social content, and just like a little short version of the stream so people can catch up and watch like a 9-minute best of. So to do that, normally, if I'm recording everything locally on my device, he has to chase me down and make me basically get my video, put it on some Google Drive, and then he has to download it, and then he can start working with it, which is not ideal because I'm not that easy to chase down. After we're done here, I'm going to take off these headphones and just basically not think about anything for about an hour. So when you have local recordings already built in your workflow, like here with Studio, you already get all the recordings directly into your Restream account. You simply go to your storage, you download separate audio and video tracks, audio tracks if you're repurposing into podcasting tools and into podcasts. But the beauty of having all of your guests' videos already delivered to you on the back end while you're still streaming in the highest possible quality, way higher than any kind of internet connection could possibly power, is something that we are very excited about, and we're using that every week with our own live streams, right?
I genuinely use it. I genuinely use it. And the most incredible thing is that as you bring in, like, so we have this, image on the right, on the left, my right, screen left, that will come in. So when you download those local files, you get a zip folder. It takes a little while to process because the files upload as one format, and then they need to process so that we can download them in an H.264 MPEG so that you can edit with them. It processes all of these files, stitches everything together, and then it gives you an XML file that you can bring into your editor, into your post-production editor, NLE. And it puts all of these things onto the timeline in layers. And so you know exactly where it was. Now, what I then do is I take the main record as well. And I can dip in and out between the main recording and the local recordings. And when I have my AI clips edited, sometimes I'll look at it and I'm like, I love that clip. We were showing a video at that point. I'd like to actually not have Anya there. I can just go to the local recording and I can just put me at the front instead of you, or you know what I mean? Like I can do it in the editor, but it might be that there are some graphics on screen that I forgot to take out, or we just, like, I'm having a conversation now. Maybe you want to take just me talking and I'm inside this box. You have that local recording. You have that option. Sorry, I could talk about local recordings forever.
No, it's good.
When that was released, I was just like, this is the best day.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome.
I came from post-production, so it's really important to me.
It's super handy. It's super helpful for me. Not chasing guests and just like having their recordings there, because I do a lot of case studies and interviews. Oh my God, like this alone, like there have been so many times when I had to spend days and days and days to just like convince people to give me the videos that I needed when we were still recording like in QuickTime players and stuff like that. So this is definitely much better.
And of course, if they leave too soon, you get an email saying, can you get them to come back? And they get an email saying, come back. They click on that and it just resumes the upload. I mean, this is so well thought through. It really is.
Exactly. So check it out if you haven't done local recordings yet, or AI clips. Our automatic clipping and highlighting of your shows, which can happen from live streams or any videos that you recorded earlier and simply upload. You can also clip that. So check that out.
Rick likes the lightsabers. I want to talk about that. Can I talk about that just for a very small second? They're beautiful, but you have to be real careful with a light tube like that, because nowadays they're not, they're LED, and so they could introduce flicker. Now, you may not notice that initially, but sometimes if you're recording in slow-mo, or you're recording at unusual frame rate, or you're maybe doing a time lapse, you might get this banding coming across the screen. So in order to make sure that isn't flickering, you might have to go into some deep settings on your camera and change things like the frame rates and to make sure that it doesn't flicker. Cheap LEDs will have
any flickering here.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. I've had a discussion about that. Because each individual, a professional, if that's just those tubes are hundreds of dollars each. If you want ones that are specifically made for video, and so that's a luxury. That's a luxury. That really is, and I love them. But I was like, I don't know if I necessarily need that here, but I do love it. It does look great.
Yeah, lightsabers are fun. So yeah, it's awesome. There is an LDM show where when we use Restream, we speak to our guests and tell them to use their phone, ring light, and clean background. This is awesome. This helps with the budget. Yes, just that simple trick. Please use your camera on your phone. try to get some kind of a standalone mic, and like a little ring light is just so helpful. It just really elevates the quality. And it's not that hard to motivate your guests to do that, because in the end of the day, we all want to look good on camera, right? If I'm doing your podcast, I want to look good. So if you give me the tips and like specific steps of how I can make it happen, and especially if I do it at scale on a regular basis, being a guest somewhere, speaking, demoing something myself, it's a great thing to invest in. And you don't have to spend a lot.
Right. And I think literally having that conversation with your guest prior just lets them know you're serious. It's a big deal, and you need to think about it. That's a really good conversation to have. Even if nothing happens, you put them in the right frame of mind, and it lets them know that you're a pro.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, it's good to have, I talked about checklists before. It's good to give a guest a list of requirements and say, if you want to be on my show, you need to fulfill these requirements, and you give them a list. And if they want to be on your show, they need to, I was very strict about what I wanted for the shows that I was running.
Yeah, absolutely. One quick question here from TY Talks, Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
So what's new? Are there any updates? So this show is specifically about gear. So we're talking primarily about what you can do with your setups to level up the quality of your live streams. We don't have a lot of like feature updates, but we do have a few things that I would like to mention. So we reminded, did a little refresher on local recordings, which is a great way to get super high quality recordings from your streams when you're using Restream Studio. Another thing that I wanted to actually highlight, and I'm going to go back to one of the scenes that we had in the beginning, and that is our chat overlay right here. So these are kind of like all the questions that we have kind of popping up together. So this chat overlay is going to get a little rebranding. It's going to look much better. It's going to be resizable, and it's going to look, there will be a lot of customization options in terms of fonts and looks of the chat. So that is coming very soon. Studio team is super excited about that. And we are going to, of course, do a separate live stream on all the coolest updates with Studio. But that's something that we are happy to tease today. That's coming soon. So stay on the lookout for that one.
Can I take that question about LDM?
Yeah.
The LDM show?
Yeah, absolutely.
About shirt mics. I can only assume that a shirt mic is a lav or lavalier mic. So the little lapel mic that goes in here.
Yeah, let me
I
get
love
that
them.
question for you.
Again, just like lighting, just like everything, it really depends on where it's appropriate. Like, I want to be able to move around, which is why I'm quite an animated person. It's why I'm not using this. Right? The reason I'm not using this today is because I'll knock it if I'm trying to get things. And so I'm using my shotgun up above. Shotgun's nice and directional. The lav is great, but it's a wired device. So it might be that it has to physically connect with a cable to my computer. Or it might be wireless. If it's wireless, you can get interference. The mic packs, often you put them down the shirt and then they go on your hip. The antennas on those get broken because people sit on them. You have to make sure they have batteries. Like, they are fabulous for someone that needs to be moving around a venue, or someone and therefore it's wireless, and you have someone that can monitor the sound because they get interference. And they're fabulous if someone's just sitting at a desk and they are not going to move, and you have someone that's going to come along and take that mic off them before they move. So they're brilliant. But again, you need to choose the equipment for the scenario. So I love them. They give a nice sound, and they are omnidirectional. There's another thing to consider. So it doesn't matter which way that mic is pointing, you will hear that person, but that means you'll hear everything else, right?
Yeah.
So again, lav mics are great when appropriate.
Yeah, I would say like my little take on lav mics, and I used to actually cover physical events as a journalist before in my previous life. I guess they're super helpful for exact that purpose, because then once you are hooked up, you can like walk around, you can do interviews, you can like comment, and it's constantly recording. So even if you're just saying something funny without thinking about like being on camera, that all like gets captured.
Yep.
But for me, it was mostly like it always has interference from like clothes or hair, shirt,
Right.
and that kind of stuff. So if you're doing that in the environment of your studio, make sure you have maybe somebody to listen in and make sure that like if you talk into it and you're being like natural, moving your hands, then that doesn't create any of that friction, because it's very easy to miss if you don't hear yourself, but then it's extremely distracting if your shirt is kind of like rubbing against it. So something to keep in mind.
Unusable.
Yeah. It's like you can't correct it on post-production because it's just like this thing that is
exactly
ruining your jam and your vibes.
And actually, audio is one. Talk to a cinematographer and they'll tell you that, you know, the lens is the most important thing or whatever. You talk to any audio engineer, they're like, sound is 51% of any production. And there is some truth to that, in that your ears are not nearly as forgiving as your eyes. And so getting a good sound is probably the first thing to level up your production, is to sort your sound out, which can be done with IKEA curtains and, you know, moving blankets and a used microphone.
On a budget, absolutely. Yes, used gear is another great way to save. Check out your local marketplaces, see what people are selling. A lot of times you can find like decent lenses and decent mics there at a fraction of a cost, and that's really, a lot of those microphones are built like tanks, so you're not necessarily missing out on a lot. But yeah, you can level up the quality without necessarily spending too much. And I love the comment from Rick. He's saying, oh yeah, I'm always super interactive with my viewers and I use chat overlay all the time. It's really cool to use it. I've seen a few of our creators use it as a countdown. Basically, you have some kind of an image on the background. You have like the timer ticking, and then you show the chat overlay. So as people start checking in and interacting and sharing their first questions or where they're watching from, it looks super cool. So that's another cool way to use chat overlay. And as it's going to be more customizable, you can move it around on the screen and create specific look for it. I think it's going to be even more useful. Please keep bringing your questions into our chat, because this is live Q&A. We are here primarily to answer your questions. So think of this as office hours. So you're meeting Restream team and you are sharing your thoughts, your comments, your questions for us. If you do have requests for our features, I saw a few questions that are about what's coming up next, and we are going to take a few of them. Make sure that you go to ideas.restream.io. That is the best place to submit your needs, things that you would like to see in Restream Studio, in Restream in general. There are multiple sections there. There's a studio section, so requests specifically for studio, for our integrations, for our multi-streaming. So all kinds of things that we offer, you can request, and you can also upvote if you see that someone already requested it. Seeing those upvotes really help our product team to prioritize features. So we are building based on what our community is requesting. So that if there's something that you really want to see in Restream, do not miss out on the opportunity to go to ideas and let us know what that is.
This is also a really good exercise in letting everyone know that this product is being built by people that have a history in this. We're not just tech founders that have just decided to do a thing. This is a circle of people that actually are live streamers, know about production. They are building a product that they want to use, and that works. That's, hopefully we're sort of showing our pedigree here and our understanding. And if you think that something's missing, let us know, and we might be able to say, well, here's why you don't need it, or here's an alternative, or
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. And this is another question about actually one of those great examples of something that is not here yet. Are we planning to create our own Android app? Any plans? Requests for live streaming app are coming quite often. And yeah, every year we get these questions. We completely understand that it would be very helpful to just have power of Restream Studio in your pocket. It is, however, a not very trivial task technically to do, right? Like we covered how smaller computers like Chromebooks or MacBooks Mini are not necessarily the most powerful and the most reliable tools to power live, real-time, high-quality video, especially from multiple cameras with multiple guests and maybe other additional materials like videos and images. So imagine taking that down to even smaller device like this phone is going to be it's a very challenging and not trivial task. So we are currently thinking about ways how to bring Restream on mobile in a more kind of sophisticated and easy way, primarily basically stripping down a lot of the studio features and creating kind of like a lighter version of it. I would believe that that would be very helpful for guests. Like, for example, if you have a guest who is joining from mobile kind of on the way, or maybe someone who is like reporting from the fields, that is something that we're definitely thinking about and looking into. As far as a dedicated app that would power the whole thing for hosts, not something that we're trying to focus right now at this moment, because, like I said, first, it's not very easy to achieve, and you will be struggling with reliability because of the just the nature of smaller devices, especially like being dependent on Wi-Fi's and kind of like internet connection, which is also a big factor in live streaming. I always like to say that there's very little room for bad internet in the world of live streaming. So, and it's also very little room for a small, not very powerful device that has limited like battery, limited processing power to truly deliver a good live streaming experience for you as a host, for your guests, if they're joining you for interviews, and for your viewers. But yeah, it's a great question. Something that you still can add and upvote on our ideas at Restream.io, because we do, I believe, have something about apps on both iPhones and Androids in there. So yeah, definitely check it out. All right.
There's also so many different devices. How do developers make these things work? I don't.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I see another question here. This is beautiful. So Rastaman from X is saying, Restream gave me more freedom as other streaming platform. Is there any way to make the basic tier 3 platforms instead of 2? I think it would bring tremendous engagement, which will lead to paying to the more expensive tiers. So yes, Restream currently allows you to stream for free to 2 platforms, so you don't have to pay for that. If you want to multi-stream to 3 platforms or more, yes, you do need to upgrade. The reason, basically the rationale behind this is the cost for us. Basically, Restream takes your feed and in the exact same quality as you send it to us, we rebroadcast it to multiple different channels, right? So there are servers, there are infrastructural costs related to that. And for us to continue innovating and to be able to bring the service to most of our creators, we have to keep it sustainable, right? So that's the reason why certain features are requiring you to upgrade and to pay. However, if you're just looking for 3 platforms instead of 2 and you're creating content on a regular basis, we definitely would encourage you to reach out to our support team and maybe connect with us. We are looking for people who are interested in creating content for us. We have affiliate and referral programs that are built in, and some of those are coming with additional upgrades for Restream plans if you're interested in creating some content for us. So specifically in your case, if you're creating on a regular basis and using Restream and know our product and offering and would like to collaborate with us, let us know. We can see what we can do. But in general, this is the rationale. So there are very few streaming tools out there that allow you browser-based multi-streaming for free. And the reason is because it does cost a little bit for us in order to be able to power that. So that's kind of the reason. Awesome. There are some questions about, so there's a point about overlay, using Restream for nearly 10 years, and we enjoy the overlay. Yes, the overlays are really cool. And this new design for the chats is called Air. It's a new theme that does have like this kind of like airy, transparent background for chats, comments, and captions. And I'm really digging that too. And thank you for being with us for 10 years. That's big. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. There are different types of overlay. There's the chat overlay, but there's also this overlay.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't forget to do that. Also, there's a comment about phone use. We use our phones sometimes outside live using the internet version. But yes, you would have to watch out for small size if you want to use it later. Yeah, so obviously if you're trying to stream from your phone, there's also some complications in terms of like how much space you have. Like you don't have a lot of room to like see yourself. your chats, your guests, your scenes, even using this teleprompter that you saw in my little video, how my setup is, because it's pretty small, right? Like it's a tiny screen. It's actually not very easy for me to use it when I'm also driving and like picking the comments and just kind of like trying to switch scenes and trying to interact with our co-producer and just kind of like manage the show. Because the smaller the screen is, like the less you can see, the harder it is to read the comments, the harder it is to see the use different tools within Studio. And of course, this teleprompter is a lot bigger than most of our phones, so that's another great thing to consider. I love it. May is asking, nice, where do I send an email? If you're talking about affiliate programs, just reach out to our support. It's a 24/7 live chat. It's the need help button on the lower right corner of Restream website, and just mention the stream and say, hey, I would like to get connected with someone who like helps with affiliate program, and they will send you the right way.
And those are real humans. Those are real humans, and they will talk to you and they will help you. Those guys are incredible. They are, and I mean, I ask them help. They are really, really wonderful. And that's, I think, one of the greatest things about Restream isn't the technology. It is the people that are behind it, as I just mentioned. But those support guys they're phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they escalate things. Like if you have a conversation and it's important, you can guarantee internally that will be discussed.
Yeah, that's awesome. So lots of thank you comments on this. We are about to wrap up, by the way. So if you have any last questions, any last comments, let us know in the chat. We'll be happy to take them as we are finishing. So awesome. Thank you. I'll reach out and I will start streaming 4 to 5 times a week, exclusively stream. That's amazing to hear. Thank you so much. So yeah, maybe you can create some videos for us, and we'll be happy to power you in return. Really honored to be behind your live streams. Like really, thank you so much for sharing that. It's always super cool for us to see. This is one of the reasons why I love doing these live shows, because you get to see real creators, people who are using us every day, and kind of talk to them, understand their pain points in their lives. So that's awesome. As you are submitting the last questions that we'll be taking today, Charles, I actually want to take you up on your promise to break down the microphones, XLRs. Why are they working the way they are? And maybe you can show something.
I don't know if I have a good demo way to show it, but I wanted to talk about why XLR is the connector that's used, or why that's become the standard. And it's really simple. That the way that a microphone works is, of course, an electric signal generated by a moving diaphragm inside the microphone, picks up the waves, air waves of the spoken word, or an instrument, the twang of a string. That's converted into a little electrical signal that's running down a wire. Now, it's a tiny electrical signal. If you look at an XLR cable, it has 3 wires. Now, why would it want that? It has, it's been a while since I've thought about this. Essentially, it's got like a ground, and it's got a live, and it's got a negative, a positive and a negative and a ground. And so the reason I'm calling it positive and negative is in order to have a speaker or a microphone work, generally speaking, you're going to need 2 cables, just like you would with a light bulb, whatever. The reason it has 3 is it sends the positive channel will be sending that little electrical signal. The negative channel is sending the absolute inverse of that signal. So where the waves are going up and down on one side, they'll be going down and up on the other side, so that when those signals get put together at the other end, if there's anything different, you can then disregard it. So if the length of cable has had any kind of interference happen in that run, the interface knows to ignore it, right? So it can put those 2 signals together and use that as a sort of template to remove any noise. And so that's why XLR cables are used, is because they stop the transmission of noise, or the introduction of noise along your cables. So even an analog signal is going to be much less prone to interference. So that's why you can use an XLR mic around all of this equipment that has a lot of noise and radio noise and stuff.
That's really cool. I actually did not know that in such a detail, and that explains why the quality of your sound with XLR mics is so much better, right? Because it does this, elimination of any kind of background noise, and that's really cool. Wow, I did not know that you were going to go so deep into how
if I get any of that wrong, do let me know if I'm wrong on that. But this is my understanding of it. I've been doing it for a while, and was always my understanding. And the other good thing about an XLR cable is it can also transmit power. It's quite nice, chunky, hefty cable. So phantom power is what we call it. A microphone that needs power to work, a dynamic. My brain has stopped working, but a mic that needs power can have that power sent down that XLR cable, 12 to 48 volts.
Yeah, totally. No, that's good stuff. I do remember last week we had a lot of questions about USB mics versus XLR mics. Like, what is the right way per se, right? Like, which one do I need? Which one should I use? I would say that it just really depends on what you want to prioritize. USB mics are great for ease of use, right? Like, if you don't want to figure out like audio interfaces, how to connect that, how to set it up, there are a lot of little knobs and settings on those audio interfaces. And if you don't want to really dive in deeply into understanding what's the gain, like what's the noise cancellation level, like how many microphones do you want to plug into your interface, right? Like, what is basically how much of the noise of the room is going to pick up? Like, so all of those things are pretty delicate with those XLRs, and especially the more advanced the microphone, the more kind of like knobs and things you have there. But the quality of sound, if your priority is quality, the XLR is definitely the way to go. If your priority is ease of use, plug and play, maybe like you were sharing last week, something that you would send to your guests just to make sure that their audio is like minimum good, right? Then the USB mic is definitely a great option. So that's kind of like my take on USB versus XLR, since we're on the microphone topic. But yeah, if you want to add something, Charles, go for it.
So I think it also boils down to what you're asking your computer to do. And so if you're plugging in a whole bunch of different, if you need more than one microphone and you're plugging in several USB microphones,
it's going to be tough.
You're going to be plugging in a hub, and so putting more processing on the computer. I think, generally speaking, a USB mic, it might well be sort of a Swiss Army knife. It might have a whole bunch of different things, but not do any of them particularly well. There are the SM7B has a USB version. So that mic actually there's a version that has a little light on it. I can't remember. Maybe it's a SM7DB, maybe, and it's digital. Many people love that. They like it. It works for them, and I think it can do both XLR, analog XLR, and it has that digital interface on it. I have heard people saying that they don't like it. It really, these things are a matter of preference and convenience and what's appropriate for what it is you're doing. And I think the thing to do is to work out what you need to do and what you will be doing in the future, and then make those priorities, and then do your research based on those priorities. And, don't just go to one source. Don't just go to Google or ChatGPT. Watch videos, get opinions, work out, sift through, and, do some research on this subject to find out what's right for you. I have opinions on cameras, like which camera you should use. I have opinions on all sorts of stuff, but that's all based on a list of priorities.
Yeah, and the job to do, right? Like your use case, because if you're doing interview, it's one story. If you are if your job is to stream a big in-person event, that's a completely different set of equipment. So then
you're not going to have a USB mic in an event.
Yeah, no USB mics.
Because how are you going to run that cable? Or if it's wireless, is it Bluetooth? That's going to work. But if you are doing an event, where's that microphone? Here you go. A cheap mic like this, you can run an XLR cable 50 meters, 100 meters. And because it's got big chunky wires and 48 volts running down it, it's going to have that signal. It's going to be great. It's going to be perfect. So
that's awesome.
But then, it's down to use case.
Yeah. So there is a question, actually. First, I just want to make sure I want to take this comment. Like X exploded. I see a bunch of comments from X coming in. So there is Doob. He's saying we need to get this crystal clear on live. I guess as you and I, Charles, are right now. It looks so clear. It doesn't look live. But since I just took your comment, it is live. So now you know. You know.
There's like interacting with your audience is as important, and demonstrating what you're doing is as important as any of the technology.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeremy here, also from X. I don't know why X exploded. Like maybe someone shared our stream. Let us know, like how. Keep commenting, I guess. This is really cool to hear and see. So Jeremy is asking, I want to record my acoustic practice session. That is actually a good question because I've seen that before. What is the best, I guess, audio setup for if you're recording, basically you're playing musical instruments and you're recording or live streaming that through studio? What's your audio, what's your best audio setup? What would you say, Charles, since we just dissected some mics.
So,
yeah.
You know how I spoke about, excuse me, I spoke about how lighting is an art form.
Yeah.
Miking up instruments is also a deep art form. Something like that SM7B would be perfect for a drum. It would probably work very well for an acoustic guitar. I would put that then into a USB-enabled mixer. Mackie and Yamaha make some pretty cost-effective mixers, audio mixers, which have a USB out, and so they work just like an interface, and you can just plug all of your microphones in there. Then you can have your headphones plugged into that desk, and so you can then live mix, you can hot mix. I personally like to use the mixers that have faders that you open and close by sliding rather than twisting. Good thing about that also, they will probably have something like built-in compression, and so you can tweak your sound to get your voice, your vocals into that mix nicely. The one thing you're going to find difficult is isolating those audio signals in your stream. So if you need to do post-production on something like music, you would probably be better off thinking about a desk that can record each leg, each individual stem, each mic internally, or pass it through a DAW like Audition or Pro Tools, and that DAW, digital audio workstation, that DAW will record each track, and then you can have the output of that going as your live feed. It's, an NDI. Sorry, I don't even. What does it? Digital interface? Anyway, you can have that pass through into the Restream studio as a source. There you go. SM7B and USB audio mixer. This is what I'm saying. This is yeah.
That's I guess what Jeremy is using. He says no vocals yet. Yeah. If you are actually recording something more kind of like a DJ set type thing, this I would say you have it. So this is the setup. Definitely. That's awesome. Doob is saying here, got here from my buddy. And we stream from separate locations, which adds another layer of complexity. But Restream has taken away a lot of stress, and it is very user-friendly. Thank you so much for saying that. This is super, super cool to hear. Restream Studio is designed to live stream together with remote guests, with somebody who is not necessarily in the same room. You can do it together in one space, but you can also do it remotely. This is what's going on right now. I'm based in Austin, Texas. Charles here is in San Francisco, and we look like we are in the same room. If we color code and coordinate our backgrounds a little bit more. And then in the end, we're going to do the high five. So stick around for that one. And steal it for your remote shows as well, because it's awesome.
I did actually look at us right at the beginning. I looked at the color of you and the color of me, and I sat and I fiddled with my settings just to make it look a little closer. I still look a bit red, and I like a blue background, so I left it blue.
Yep. I think there's going to be one last question we're going to take today, and that is going to be this guy right here. Oh, not sure what's happening. Sorry, I guess I multi-clicked. This is probably a really dumb question. No such thing. Not on live stream Q&A with Restream team. No question is ever dumb. This is probably, I have a Shure MV7 Plus connected via USB. How big time podcasters move their boom arms in live real time without having any vibrations picked up. That's right down your alley, Charles.
It boils down to the the quality of your equipment to a certain degree. I think you're going to find that if you've gone onto that certain rainforest.com and whatever your online shopping store, and you've bought an affordable microphone stand, they might have the springs in them, and you have to tighten it to a certain degree and get it's more like an angle poised lamp than it is a microphone stand. They tend to have higher quality stuff. I have this one, how do you say that, fine? Now I've got to change my focus settings, but this is what I have. You'll look and see that I was watching the Conan O'Brien's podcast. They have the same low profile mic stands. It boils down to, I think, the quality of stand. Actually, I think that, and making sure that things are solid. Make sure your desk is solid. Play with it. Actually, record yourself moving it and find out what is causing the problem. My chair squeaked the other day, and I found some grease, and I squirted grease on my chair, and it doesn't squeak. I wouldn't advise people have a chair that spins, because you tend to sit and do this. Very unprofessional. I think that's all I can say, really, is it's down to what you can afford and quality of the equipment, and take some advice on ones that might work for you. And again, these things are available secondhand. Elgato make one. I think yours is Elgato, right?
The microphone stand,
the arm that you got.
The arm,
that's got the one on your 7B. The mic is here.
This guy, I'm not sure. I'll look it up and definitely.
We're not talking about the boom.
Not the boom. Yeah, this guy.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't misunderstood.
It doesn't.
Is it not stuck to the desk?
No, not at all. Yeah, it's very movable.
Oh, that's
cool. And I love it. And I love it this way because then I can kind of like move it around depending on my frame. So that's definitely something.
And mine's attached to the desk. I quite like that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Does that answer the question? Oh.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we're going to take one last from May about the intro and outro background music. I think May is saying she's getting flagged when she is using music. So the background music that Restream provides is basically AI generated, right? Like, so you can play it. It's completely free to use. If you are playing, Lady Gaga song on your intro, yes, most likely YouTube is going to flag you because there are some licensing and copyright situations that prevent you from using that music. So the workaround that would be to use something from aggregators like Epidemic Sound, I guess, right? Like there are a few places where you can actually buy licensing, and then as long as you mention that in your description that you own this music or you own the license to play it on your stream, you should be good. If you have a chance to collaborate with some talented musicians and creators, we're extremely lucky to have Dmitry, our designer, to create tunes and songs for our countdowns, basically electronic, like DJ stuff. So we have basically unique stuff created specifically for us. If you have a chance to collaborate with somebody, that's another cool way to do it. Otherwise, it's just going to be one of those aggregators that we would recommend. Because yes, if you're using popular songs in your intros and outros, unfortunately, it is very, very common for end platforms to flag it. This is not something that Restream does. We do not necessarily enforce any kind of like censorship or any kind of copyright rules, but end platforms do. So we do recommend making sure that you comply with their terms and conditions. And like those aggregator platforms are probably your best bet. Awesome.
I don't want to weigh in on that. I'm not a lawyer. That's such a tricky one, and people copyright striking. It's difficult. Certainly, if you're uploading anything, make sure you attribute where that music came from, so that you don't get strikes. Even Epidemic will give you a copyright strike if you haven't attributed the music to them on something that you've uploaded.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is a very common issue for creators in general. So yeah, that's something that hopefully as industry, live video, live streaming, social video, we will tackle one day, because I do think that people should be able to play great songs if they're willing to give credit and if they're willing to help the creators monetize. So it just needs to be more streamlined. Right now it's a little bit complex, and yeah, you have to think about a lot of things. Beautiful stuff. I guess we are going to go ahead and wrap up. We're running for another hour and a half, and it's super lovely to see everybody. Thank you so much for all your questions, for great comments, for your insights, for sharing what kind of stuff you do with Restream, what kind of content you stream, what are you inspiring to stream. This is super, super exciting for us. We are live every week, every Wednesday around the same time. We are doing either shows around gear or design, and sometimes we also do launches of new products and announcements. Hopefully, some new announcements are coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you can, that helps us out a lot. Someone asked if we're also live on other channels. We are multi-streaming. This is kind of the core of Restream. We are live on YouTube, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And there are 30 platforms for you to choose from if you choose to go live with Restream Studio. Pretty easy for guests, pretty good quality as you can see here.
I paired my stream to my LinkedIn this morning as well.
And you can ask your guests to connect their channels so they could rebroadcast and amplify your events for additional views, so you can get known and recognized by new audiences and find new fans, grow your community. So this is what we are here for. And as we are wrapping up, big thank you for our amazing moderators. I see Grant was really helpful today in YouTube. Thank you so much for tackling some questions, because some people had like very specific technical questions. If you're experiencing some issues or need help onboarding, you definitely should talk to our 24/7 support. Grant is actually part of that team, so you can talk to him in real time at pretty much 24/7. And folks from his team, if you need any help with Restream, we're very proud to provide real human support for you all the time. So definitely use it, take advantage of it. Big thanks to Kate. Today she was our co-producer. She is helping us with scenes, with chats, with overall like being behind the scenes person. This helps a lot to focus on content when someone else is helping you to run the show and scenes and pins the comments and chats. We have the team seats and basically collaborative features in Restream Studio, such as workspaces and team seats. So if you have a chance to get a co-producer, totally get a co-producer, because it helps so much when someone else is kind of watching out for you, making sure that you're live on all channels and stuff like that. I did see the comments that our sound had some crackling and there were some desyncs at some point. We are going to look into that. We're going to look if that's something that happened exclusively on YouTube or on all platforms. So stay tuned for that. We're definitely going to research that and find out why. And on that positive note, Charles, are you ready for a high five?
I'm ready for a high five.
All right, let's do it.
Oh.
Yeah. Ding.
Ding.
Yeah, we're doing it. See, that is how remote guests can stay connected. Thank you, everybody. We love you so much. I'm going to send you some hearts, my usual little virtual.
I need to turn reactions on.
Do it. And
It's so right. Hey, there you go.
Thank you. We love you so much, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.